welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining this week are Andy Parsons, Catherine Ryan and Ed Gamble, Milton Jones, Hugh Dennis and Josh Widdicombe. We saw it around called Picture of the Week. I showed the panel a topical image and asked me to tell me what's happening. So here's a picture of the four Labour leadership hopefuls. What's going on here?
Is it AshleyMadison.com relaunches with hip new image?
Is it a new band called No Direction?
Yeah.
Is it a game of shag, marry, avoid, help across the road?
Is the photographer saying, could everyone with dark hair please smile like a murderer?
Is it a charity appeal? Like, for £3 a month, you could buy these deluded fools fresh water and false hope.
Is Yvette Cooper saying, no, I'm sorry, I haven't got any change?
I think the helicopter that takes them away is going to be too small if it has to land on that H.
Maybe it's the steps reformed and H couldn't turn up, so they just put him on the side.
This is a photograph of two sisters and their brother, but when they came to develop it, there was actually an image of their long-dead grandfather.
Interestingly, Corbyn is on the far right there, which is the last time we'll ever say that.
This is Liz Kendall, Andy Burnham, Yvette Cooper and Jeremy Corbyn, who have all been campaigning to become Labour's next leader, the result of which will be announced on Saturday, and thus end this, please. This 3-month-long, it feels like we've been doing this since Corbyn was young.
I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like Jack Whitehall in about 50 years' time.
They're calling it Corbyn Mania, but you can't just put mania at the end of a word and think that it means something. Like Beatlemania, that was when they played to 55,000 people in Shea Stadium. Corbyn Mania is 1,100 bored pensioners in Norfolk.
He's rebelled, hasn't he, against the Labour leadership 500 times, over 500 times. You think if he does become Labour leader, there must be a very good chance if somebody votes against the Labour leadership, it is in fact going to be him.
I think the chief whip will be going to his own party leader and could you please vote with the party once, right? The rest of you.
They say he's left wing, but he's got a size 10 feet, which is a massive Corbyn footprint.
People are just ganging up on him, though. So I think what people are underestimating is the fact that the British public love an underdog. So if we could, we would vote for the Jamaican bobsleigh team. So Jeremy Corbyn couldn't be no problem.
Well, that's what Alistair Campbell said, wasn't it? That he's the Susan Boyle of the situation. But that's A, unfair on Susan Boyle. She had very different views on Trident. And B, like, she had a lot tougher opposition. He would lose to Pudsey the dog. If you went...
Isn't Pudsey a bear?
Get your finger on the pulse, Grandad.
I like children.
Pudsey became a dog in 2012.
It's not an insult to call someone Susan Boyle, either, because she surprised everyone by being excellent at her job. So that's just
I think the reason he's winning isn't because he's good, it's because the opposition is so boring. Andy Burnham looks like... Have you ever edited yourself as a football player on Pro Evolution Soccer?
Yeah.
You know the bass player you start with? It's just the most generic human in the world. That's Andy Burnham. He looks like someone who'd get to the 6th week of The Apprentice because you hadn't noticed him.
And I spent all those weeks really dreading the one where we have to interview Andy Burnham for half an hour.
And he'd become team leader and get kilograms and ounces mixed up, and that'd be it.
So, Andy, did you enjoy the process?
I think when he loses, he should get a wheelie suitcase and walk out.
Andy Burnham was also very popular with the right wing, wasn't he? Until they realised it was just his surname and not his policy on immigration.
By the way, I want to thank whoever from the production company who left the disc-free Philips Monitor User's Manual on my desk for me to see during the show. It's really handy. I'll upload that as the show proceeds. Genuinely, it's in 2 languages, in Japanese as well. Oh, it comes with the monitor drivers and the smart control software. Lovely. Ching ching. Yes.
Does that mean that we've recorded none of this so far?
Okay, in other news, what has Bob Geldof offered to do this week?
Well, he's offered to have refugees stay in his homes.
If you stay with Geldof, do you have to be polite about his music? Because if I was, like, a refugee and I moved in with Bob Geldof and then the first morning he came down and said, I've written a new song, I'd say, I'll take my chances in Calais.
It's going to make Geldof easier to gas on through the keyhole, isn't it?
Imagine living with Geldof and you sort of cut yourself. The next thing is a massive rock concert in the back garden. You go, no, when I said Band-Aid...
And others have also joined in this and offered their homes. I mean, it's happening a lot across the country.
Nicola Sturgeon has offered, hasn't
Yes,
she?
she has,
Yvette Cooper has offered, but she's very good with the downtrodden. She already has an unemployed man living in her house.
The thing is, the people from Syria, aren't they? They're basically desperate,
Yes.
and then they're trying to improve their chances by turning up in Greece. I mean, that's like trying to improve your IQ by watching ITV2, isn't it? You're wondering how many of the Greeks are actually going to try and get into Germany by pretending to be Syrians.
It does. The whole thing has pointed out how much better the European train system is, doesn't it? You can get a train. You can go Montenegro.
That's the main lesson.
No, it's
I
not.
think we've all taken
It's not the main lesson.
the largest
It's not the main lesson
refugee-
at all. But you can get to Munich in a couple of days. Over here, you would have reporters on the scene going, "These migrants cannot understand that you can't use an off-peak saver ticket to get to Waterloo."
Well, you know, congratulations to the Germans, but I'm going to say it. Historically, I've never forgiven them. No. Do you remember Frank Lampard's goal in the 2010 World Cup? That was way over the line. What? No way is this outweigh that.
You mean 800,000...
No wonder they're trying to be the good guys of Europe.
You think this whole... taking in 800,000 refugees...
It would have made it 2-2, Dara!
Maybe that's
goal.
it. Maybe that's it, Josh. The Germany's getting World Cup points for each Syrian that they let in. I've already got a $5 on a German Syrian to win Eurovision. I just like the narrative.
There is an element to which, like, Germany won the World Cup and the team was partly Turkish as well. Like, whatever. This thing does work in sport. Mo Farah, anyone? You know? Because, you know, there is another, you know, migrant came over here. Like, they will boast your sporting chances, lads.
Mo Farah is a Somalian who acquires gold on land. Nothing I don't like about him.
I never thought I'd say this, but part of me wishes Hitler was still alive.
Wow, this is... Let's just savour the moment
Just
of
'cause
build-up here. I want to know what's
That's where they're going to edit that.
So, that's the end of that round.
No, because imagine his face. How livid he'd be. This is the ultimate victory over Hitler.
Oh, see what you mean, sorry. So not that Hitler is alive and still in charge of the Third Reich, but that Hitler is in a retirement home somewhere going, Dumpfkoffen, shuffling on while his Turkish nurse goes, Adolf, sit down.
We've gone a long way.
Yeah.
That was a long journey for me to set you up for your trademark impression,
Thank you
wasn't
very
it?
much. Always happy to throw in my little old man Hitler. Was sagst du?
Only you can meet a Mexican at the same time. What? Hitler meets a Mexican.
I can do that dancing. No. Was ist das? Yeah, there is the one I'm intrigued by is that everyone's coming north rather than they're in the middle of the Middle East. I mean, the question is, fingers have been pointed at which Middle East countries going, why aren't they? They're taking no one at all, right? And you got to go, well, you know, the United Arab Emirates can't because they spent all their money on Raheem Sterling.
Lebanon's got 1.2 million and Jordan's got 1 million.
Excuse me,
Not that Jordan. Obviously, that would be a hell of an episode of what Katie did next.
She has the land, for God's sake.
Yeah.
They could ride horses.
I'm meant to be at a photo shoot, but I've got 1.2 million migrants in my stable block.
Yes, it is. Oh, my God. Hilariously, my monitor just stopped working. If only we had the instruction disc for a monitor. end that round. The points go to Josh Hugh and Milton. Now we play a round called My Mock Shake Brings All the Boys to the Yard. This game involves Milton Jones and Ed Gamble, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launched a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that topic. OK, here we go. First subject, please. And the first topic is relationships. Ed.
So I've just moved in with my girlfriend. Thanks. Yeah, thanks. Cheers, thanks for the support, Mum. That's good of you. It's good, it's exciting. The first time I've lived with a girl. Obviously, we're finding out a lot more about each other that we didn't know before. What I found out about her is she's kinder, funnier, more sensitive than I ever realised. What we've both found out about me is I am a terrible, terrible prick and so difficult to live with. Because it turns out I am a tidy person. I didn't realise. I thought I was normal. But apparently, it is not normal to have a favourite J-cloth. She is a messy, messy lady. She is unbelievable. She's laid back, no worries. She says that a lot. No, who has no worries? Are you dead? Are you a robot? What's wrong with you? You should wake up, worry, go to bed. That is a full day as far as I'm concerned. She genuinely said this out loud the other day. Hakuna Matata. And I'm starting to think the actual Swahili translation of that is doesn't hoover. Because there is underwear everywhere. This is an odd side effect of living with a girl that I did not fully anticipate. I no longer find women's underwear sexually titillating in any way whatsoever. Because I used to be able to just see underwear and that was enough to get me excited. Didn't have to be a woman in it. Just be a bra on the floor and I'd go, ooh, boobs were there. That's enough. Now, nothing like that. I see a pair of knickers now, it's just something the remote control might be under.
Well done, Obama. Very good. That leaves us with Milton. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is medicine.
I have to go to the chemist soon to collect my prescription. Not from PC World like last time. Those tablets were very difficult to swallow. Recently, I went to the chiropractors, or as they call them in the capital of Egypt, the practors. And I put my back out trying to shoot horses, but it turns out the World Health Organization aren't trying to eradicate polo. My dad was a doctor, my mum was a nurse. They had 6 children. We all left home early. Well, they needed the beds. I remember the birthday I asked for that game, Operation. 3 years I waited. I was talking to a nurse the other day. She said the main problem facing the NHS is Holby City. Actually, she might have said obesity.
Well done. In that round, points go to Ed Gamble. Right in the back. The next round is called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Ed, which category would you like?
Home news, please.
Home news it is. The answer is 63 years. What is the question?
What is the shelf life of a pepperami?
Easy. If Hugh Hefner is 88 years, how old is his wife's granny?
Is it, what is the battery life of my Nokia 3310?
Is it how long before the Lib Dems can legitimately book a conference room again?
Is it what's old for a child?
Is it how long will it take before that American dentist feels comfortable putting his new lion rug in the waiting room?
Is it what does the TARDIS do to the gallon?
How long in his 5-year career has Jack Wilshere been injured for?
How old does cheddar have to be before it's described as off rather than mature?
is it how long has the Queen been our monarch?
You're absolutely right. That is about the Queen. Congratulations. Thank you very much, Josh Wilker. Yes, this week the Queen surpassed Queen Victoria, 63 years, 7 months and 2 days, making her the longest reigning monarch in British history. Are you all excited about this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a very curious crown she's wearing there, isn't it?
She's double having. She's double having it, I think it's called.
I think somebody should have spotted that.
I have to, you know, I think very little about the Queen, but I hope on this particular day she was sitting in a room with a giant portrait of Queen Victoria, just ticking it off, just staring at Queen Victoria until her iWatch goes off, and she goes, "Take the picture down." But in honour of this being a historic day, we are drifting from our usual format. We're going to have a quiz. We're going to have a quiz.
I love a quiz.
It is our Liz quiz. Obviously, we'd like to thank
expense that has been spent on that.
I really want to thank you for coming in and recording that little wave. What two common documents does the Queen not have?
The Da Vinci Code. And Life of Pi. Next.
Yes. Oh, the rest of them, she has them all. So, yeah.
She doesn't have a driving licence.
She doesn't have a driving licence.
No, although she has qualified to drive.
Yes, she has. She can drive. She was trained to drive in the army, as far as I know.
She did, yeah. She stripped down engines and everything. in the army.
Absolutely, yeah.
Passport.
There's no driving licence and is the only person in the country who doesn't need a passport, as they're issued in her name. And so she cannot issue in her own name because, you know... But I think she's relatively good on the ID front because she just take out a tenner and go... oh, you not get this? Go send a letter, bitch. What did the Queen invent with a dachshund and a corgi?
A Dorgie.
Yes!
Is it?
Yes, it
I'm
is.
joking.
She invented a breed of dog called the Dorgie.
Which, you say she invented it? What, she was there going, right, you put that in there now.
She didn't invent it, though, did she?
According to this card, yes, she did.
She couldn't have gone on Dragon's Den.
One needs £30,000 for 40%. It's always 40%. That's all they ever want, no matter how much you go say initially. 8%, 40. It's commonly known that the Queen owns the UK swans. Commonly known that the Queen owns the UK swans, says here. But what other water-based animals does she also have the right to own?
Ducks.
Not ducks, no.
Shopping trolleys.
I think it's... Is it dolphins?
It is. It's dolphins, whales and
Pretty big
sturgeons.
on the royal family. I know a lot of stuff.
You really are, actually. It's quite worrying. Well, anything, dolphins, whales and sturgeons within 3 miles of the UK, they're hers.
Do the dolphins know, or do they just stray in and then that's it?
If they get too close, she's in a speedboat constantly, all right? Just patrolling that 3-mile limit around the country, right?
With her army of swans.
With her army of swans who work to track them.
When she does that wave, she's actually doing a fin motion to summon her dolphin army.
Army of dolphins, assemble! I come here with an army of dolphins. I want £40,000 for 35% of the company.
I have invented a swolfin.
It's interesting, though, because we actually Mock the Week is a quiz.
Yes. We just shattered that thing by going, oh, we're going to have a little quiz. We've never done this before. I mean, the points go to Josh's team. What unusual present might people be giving this Christmas? Oh.
Dead seagull?
Have you ruined the surprise?
You were the worst Secret Santa ever. Time. For God's sake, kill it.
I think it's actually sperm.
It is
isn't
sperm. Yes, it is sperm. Yeah.
But
It's
this
not an unusual gift. Horrific return policy. Not interested.
You said 14 days.
Oh, you've lowered the tone down!
How have I ruined it? How have I ruined it?
Hitler will be sat at home livid that you've just said that.
Das war ein superben joke. Yes, but why is this story about?
Because there's a British sperm bank.
Yes,
which
there
has
is.
only, since it's been set up, I don't know how long it's been set up, it's a while, it's like a year or a year and a half or something.
Yeah.
It's only had 9 donors.
Yes. Why is
I'm
it
wondering
only-
who the other 8 are.
Do you not all meet up? I presume if there's 9 donors, they've got to meet up every Christmas and year and go, oh, swap stories. And...
Not for biscuits, though.
Yeah. And he's a Hitler fan.
You get paid 35 quid, and they were
Yeah.
saying, well, they could up their money to get more donors, but they don't want people just doing it for the money. And, oh, that's what you want, though. People just doing it for the love of it.
Yeah.
And here-
I want to give something back to this game, you know what I mean? Like I was,
Is it
my
35?
dad was a sperm donor, my granddad was a sperm donor. I've got a long line of sperm donors, yeah.
Is it 35 quid for the whole lot, or 35 quid per sperm?
No.
Because I could be maybe 160 quid.
What's the other reason, by the way, that people don't want to
Because
do
when
sperm?
you're 18, they can track you down.
Yeah, they can. You're no longer allowed to be an anonymous sperm donor in this country.
You don't need that, do you? You know?
No.
You've just cracked one off, not thought much about it. 18 years later, you get this angry teenager coming up.
Ding dong.
Dad! Hello, Dad! Why did you leave me? 35 quid?
No, there is. Well, it's actually they've had a number of people attempt to be sperm donors. They need regular sperm donations, but it's very difficult because they have to be frozen, and then it turns out the sperm has to have a very high motility, a very high.
But it's not
strength.
very difficult to be the donor.
No, it is very.
In many ways, it's the easiest job in the world.
In many. Yes.
Well, no, because you've got to go in, haven't you? You've got to go into the bank. Like, I don't know about anyone else. I do most of my banking online now, so...
At the end of that round, the points go to Joshua Milton. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics, then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to hear on breakfast TV.
You're watching breakfast TV because the chemist won't have your Valium ready until mid-morning.
Breakfast news now. A man is drowned in a bowl of Cheerios. Sadly and ironically, his family didn't get a chance to say goodbye.
This is BBC Breakfast. Look at it, that's meant to be a sausage.
Now, if you didn't see earlier on, we had steps. And that's why we interviewed Stephen Hawking outside.
Stay put for Jeremy Kyle. Today's tooth count is 3.
The world of show business has suffered another tragic loss. But don't worry, it's one of the ones you already thought was dead.
A lot of people ask me how I stay awake at this time. Well, you know what they say, early to bed, crack cocaine in the morning.
Today we're looking at the world's biggest birthday... Oh, no, Eamon's at it.
If you've been affected by any of the issues in today's Jeremy Kyle show, then phone us up. You're the sort of freak we need to get on tomorrow.
Later on, we'll be meeting a man who has to go through 50 steps before he can orgasm. All that to come.
It's Channel 5, it's 5 a.m, and I am going to sack my agent.
Well, it's time for the traffic news now, here on Christian Breakfast Time. So let's go over to our eye in the sky, God.
If you hear a knock at your door, you could be the winner of £20,000. 2 knocks and it's a police raid. Hide the guns.
Now we're going over to the kitchen where Chef Tony will be cooking up an excuse for why he's been texting my wife.
Next up on Channel 4 Breakfast, it's a brand new homegrown British sitcom. Only joking, it's Everyone Loves Fucking Raymond.
Well, let's take a look at the traffic. There it is. Brum, brum.
Well, I'm looking forward to this one. In the studio, we've got the new Doctor Who. Accidentally killed someone.
Okay. The next topic is lines you wouldn't read in a romantic novel.
The dark stranger emerged from the sea, his wet shirt clinging against his muscular torso. Soon, she held him and said the words she'd been dying to say for ages. I'm UK Border Patrol and you're under arrest.
She felt every part of his 8 inches. He was stiff, absolutely rigid, and even in her innocence, she knew her hamster was dead.
He felt a swelling down there. Shouldn't have tried to bang a beehive.
He took her hand in his and squeezed it. Now, he thought, I wonder where the rest of her body is.
I want to role play. I'll be a prince from a mythical land, and you be your sister.
He cupped her breast and put her arse in a bowl. She was into really weird shit.
You could make love, she said. Or vole, he replied, looking up from their game of Scrabble.
She felt her bosom heaving as Mr. Darcy came ever closer. Blimey, he said. You don't get many of them to the pound.
He grabbed her hand, he held it tightly, and they skipped off through the fields of daffodils. And it was at that moment she thought he might be a little bit gay.
He looked at the tattoo of Chinese writing on her back. He didn't know what it meant, but he did know she'd put out on a first date.
Jeremy Corbyn, you've got me blindfolded. What are you going to do now? Nothing. I just wanted to highlight the injustice of inmates detained at Camp X-Ray without a fair trial.
Why? Why does it end like this? She said. Childhood accident, he replied. I crushed it in the trouser press.
The debutantes paraded in the ballroom in front of the rich landowners, and the Master of Ceremonies proudly proclaimed, "Let the Darcys fondle the arses."
Marjorie, I'm going to kiss you like you've never been kissed before.
Of course I've seen a black penis before, she said. Just never attached to a white man.
At the end of that round, the point's going to Ed, Catherine and Andy. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Andy Parsons, Catherine Ryan and Ed Gamble. Commiserations to Milton Jones, Hugh Dennis and Josh Widdicombe. Thanks for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night.